Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is PattyXRP here with the DeFi Standard, and we got Mickey on the phone today. So, how's it going, Mickey?
How's it going, Patty? A little reverse roles, but we're both here. So welcome everyone um, on this beautiful June 3rd, 2021.
Absolutely. I know we put out some information the past couple days regarding the Spark claim and wallets. So, we definitely want to take some time here today to kind of get everybody caught up to speed on everything so you guys are feeling good. Just a reminder, the last claim date and subsequently the last date to change your Ethereum address that was your message key in your XRP account for the snapshot, that is going to be June 11th. So that's 8 days from now. I don't even know if you're going to be cutting it close. I'd probably get all that done by the 10th if you're going to make any changes. Um, and then on top of that, I just want to start off with kind of just some things to kind of go over what's kind of going on here and why, there's some issues and why like people are worried for, at this point on the claim. So I'm going to talk directly to Ledger Nanos real quick. The issue right now is that Ledger Nano has not decided if they want to um, if they're going to support the Spark token like through Ledger Live and with an application on the Ledger Nano device. So like currently you guys know how you can see XRP on there, you can see Ethereum, Bitcoin, you add, you install a new application so you can access that address. So that's kind of what is it? Ledger Nano has not decided to do
Mm-hmm.
yet. Yeah, and so
Yes.
they have a application also from Bifrost that they proposed to them. Luckily, we've seen some messages from the Ledger support Twitter saying that they currently are looking it over to see if they're going to add it. So I'm still hoping that they'll have like the actual Spark application on there so that you at least can like see your Spark tokens through the Ledger Nano before launch. So that's kind of what we're waiting on, which makes it like a tougher decision leading up to the 11th, what you want to do. So Mickey, I want to see if you want to jump in with anything on that.
Yes. Sure. So Ledger Nano is not supporting themselves. Toho Labs is building an app that's going to allow those who have Ledger Nano to hopefully be able to receive their Spark on their Nanos and then use basically Toho Labs app for delegating votes and whatnot for the Flare network. But that I still haven't got an answer on if that app is going to allow you to connect to the different dApps like Flare Finance and Trustline and Gala and other metaverse type applications. So, in my opinion, what I'm doing is I plan on using the Bifrost wallet. Now, it's not financial advice. Everyone can do what they want to do, but there are ways that the Bifrost wallet is designed for the Flare network. It's a multi-chain wallet. So it's going to allow you to hold your XRP, your FXRP, your Spark, and all the different assets that come with the Flare network, being YFlare, YFin, RA, Trustline Credit Network token. All those will be able to be held on your Bifrost. So that's kind of, I feel like we should look at, even though it's not an official wallet and they don't want to say anything's official, but I think it's designed to maximize the functionality of the Flare network.
Yeah, and also they're gonna let you do some of those the layer one protocol functionality directly from the wallet. So that'll be like delegating your Spark vote to a signal provider or
Mm-hmm.
minting F assets, maybe
Mm-hmm.
staking in the collateral system. So like being able to do that all from one wallet seems really enticing to me, especially if they have a mobile app
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty easy for me to access. The nice thing is they're getting some independent security audits done right now. Toho Labs has kind of built a lot of this like infrastructure stuff on the back end for Ledger in the past as well. So they've definitely been
Mm-hmm.
around in the space for a while. But I'm definitely looking to see. They said they're going to come out with a beta where you can start testing out the wallet. Don't have an exact date yet, but before Flare launches, they also confirmed that the Bifrost wallet will be ready for day one of the Flare network launch too. So that's good to
Yes.
know.
So now I have a question that I've been seeing, Patty, a lot of people asking. Are they going to be able to use their Nano ledgers with MetaMask, with Bifrost, the way you can with MetaMask with certain dApps on the Ethereum.
So yeah, that's going to be dependent on Ledger like
Hmm.
accepting their proposal for integration. So, if you guys want them to do it, the best way is to reach out to them, and if enough people do it and it kind of, gets on their radar, I mean, that's how they're going to end up doing it. Unfortunately, sometimes these companies have to be pushed to do something that a user base wants. So, if you want, like, keep reaching
Hmm.
out to them and, kind of getting this more on their radar. It seems like they got a lot of tweets in the past few days from what I could tell. So, at least we know they're considering supporting the Spark token there.
Hmm.
But I also want to jump into, so I know we've kind of been talking about how you can hook up your Ledger Nano to MetaMask. So they basically have a plugin where you can operate the accounts on your Ledger Nano through MetaMask. And if Ledger is not supporting the Spark token directly on like Ledger Live or the Ledger Nano device, then you can go over and hook up your Ledger Nano with MetaMask. We'll have more stuff on how to do that in the future. It's not something we're going to have to do until day one of launch. And you would be able to access your Spark tokens that way. And if you wanted to send them to the Bifrost wallet, you could just do that through MetaMask. And you're going to be sending it over the Flare network. So I've seen people ask, is there ETH gas fees? There's not. All this will be done on the Flare network. The way MetaMask is set up is that you can basically put in chain IDs and things like that to hook into the different blockchains. So that's the one you set which one you're operating on. And then that Ethereum address, since Flare Network is going to be using like the same standards as Ethereum and the EVM and everything, it lets you hold different token addresses underneath like one Ethereum address. So like all the dApp tokens on Ethereum, or like if you think Binance Smart Chain, you can like hold them under one address. I know like in the XRP community, we're pretty used to just seeing only XRP under that address. So that's kind of how you're able to do it. I imagine there's probably tutorials already on the internet on how to hook up your ledger to MetaMask, because people have ledgers that do like Ethereum DeFi and would have done that in the past. And then I see, so Pied Piper says, how safe is the Bifrost wallet?
Hmm.
You want to take, just some general points on that, Mickey?
Yeah, sure. So they're going through security audits, the Bifrost wallet, along, it's going to be similar to MetaMask, as in sense, they're going to have a desktop version that will come out first, right? Then there'll be a mobile app for iOS and then for like Android Play Store. But that's not going to be like available right away. So the desktop will be available first, and then that countdown that you see of 55 days or whatever it is, that's really for the iOS Play Store app that's coming. But when it comes to security, Patty, I'm not aware of them releasing anything yet on that. One thing I do know that is coming is going to be with some of these dApps, is with that is going to come KYC AML. And now with KYC AML, if it's a self-sovereign digital identity, what it allows is for you to have a domain name linked to your wallet. And by having a domain in your Flare account, it adds an additional layer of authorization or authentication, so that it should add to the security of being able to authorize transactions. So I'm waiting to hear more information on that. We haven't heard it yet. But when it comes to the private keys, so Nano Ledger doesn't necessarily hold your private key. It does, but it puts it all in the seed phrase. And in my opinion, I think it's going to be very difficult to use your Nano Ledger's S's in the way to maximize your Flare experience with the dApps and with the network and with other dApps. Because you have to plug that thing into your computer if it's a Nano S every time you want to use it. And that means you have to have your ledger on you with a laptop or computer. So I think it's just something we got to think of just as a mindset change, that, you can still probably keep your XRP on your, Nano Ledger, but I just don't think the experience is going to be the best using your Ledger Nano with the Flare network and with the dApps. I just don't see that as something that's going to be the best functionality. But that's just me, and that's just my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I just think plugging it into the internet every time you want to do something is not the best experience.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So let's just think about it in a way like, let's say in the future we have Flare Finance, we have Trustline, they're all live on the Flare network, and you all of a sudden are going like on a vacation for a few days and you forget your Ledger Nano or your laptop that you need to access your funds while you go away on that trip. And all of a sudden, the market makes a massive move in one direction, and you may have your assets in like a collateralized debt position or something of that nature, and all of a sudden you need to add more liquidity. Well, if you don't have your Nano Ledger or your Ledger Nano on you to do that, like you could be SOL basically. So to me, like having to carry around a Ledger Nano with me for any kind of like hairy, sticky situations you could get in just on a moment's notice with crypto, like that doesn't seem like the best way forward for me. I already know that like I already feel very uncomfortable like having a Ledger Nano personally. I don't like that it's just like on some device that I keep somewhere. So I'm kind of happy that if we can move away this completely and get these kind of like mobile wallets more secure and kind of the ways that they're looking at here. So
Yes. So there's a good question here from what was his name? Undone asks about Celsius, about looking it up. Okay. Has anyone have their XRP on Celsius? I checked XRP scan today, and it is showing that the incorrect amount of XRP at the time of snapshot. I'm pretty worried. Um, I believe Celsius acts as a exchange in the way that they'll distribute out to you. So you're not going to be able to check your actual amount that you're going to receive, because Celsius is responsible for distributing it to you. Is that correct, Patty? I believe, because they
yeah,
act as a CFI. So there, you're trusting them to distribute to you. And if that's the case, you're not going to see it on XRP scan in a way if it was a self custody wallet.
exactly, because
And that
these
goes to any exchange.
exchanges, yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
know these exchanges, like that's why they've added tags to people's accounts because they store multiple people's assets within the same wallet address. So you putting that in just isn't going to work the same as it would for somebody that has their own XRP account on Zum or Ledger Nano or Decent or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's showing that. I also see some stuff in here about that countdown on the Bifrost wallet website. I know that you just addressed that they said that it's probably for the mobile app. Some
It's
we
for
asked
mobile
them,
only.
yeah, we asked them via tweet, and they said that it's going to be ready on the day that Flare launches. So, that's coming straight from the horse's mouth. They said that countdown date is just there as like the last time that it's going to go out. So to me, that's more pointing towards we'll probably see Flare Network launch within that time frame based on what they're saying because they've been partnered with Flare and they've been working on this for a while to get this ready to go. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty confident at this point it'll be ready for launch, and I think they'll have a beta too before then that people can play
Yes.
around with.
Good point. So one thing with the MetaMask here, I just want to clear up. You can change your message key from your Nano Ledger, where it's pointing right now, to an empty MetaMask wallet, and then import the seed phrase from that empty MetaMask wallet to Bifrost. That's probably the best bet if you want to keep your Nano Ledger as is and just leave it alone with whatever assets you have on there. You kind of use MetaMask as just an in-between hop, but that doesn't mean you have to use MetaMask. It's just directing, really, right, Patty, the Spark to go there in interim, and then you're moving it to Bifrost. Is that the best way to do that? And now Patty just did a blog on this on our website, the DeFiStandard.com. So you could check that out too. There's some more information there.
Yeah, we can go over to that.
Yeah, let's go over
So
to that.
uh,
Hopefully that sound plays through.
cool. Yeah. So, all right, let's kind of just go through before we get too deep into this, like what's going on with the claim. So, if you had your XRP on an exchange on December 12th, 2020 at midnight UTC time, so when it's switching over from the 11th to the 12th at midnight UTC time, I think the US is like 5 hours or so behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So it happened actually on the 11th in the US. basically the entire XRP ledger, they took a snapshot of what everything looked at it, because the XRP ledger, you can see where, all the all the XRP and all the assets are on it at once. They took a snapshot. It has the recordings of which accounts have these, have this amount of XRP here, across the entire XRP ledger. And then from there, they save that snapshot. And so now the Flare network is going to take that, and they'll see where Spark should be allocated to. So from there, you have to take, since Flare Network uses the Ethereum like standards, the Ethereum virtual machine, you had to put a message key underneath your XRP account. That message key is representative of where your airdrop is going to go to, and that's an Ethereum compatible address you put there. I'm pretty sure it started with 0x or x0 whenever it goes in. So that's where your airdrop is going to go to. Um, in the case of exchanges, a lot of them haven't reached out to people yet on how to get your airdrop. So that's not going to be available to you on the day that Flare Network launches, which we still don't know, but probably within the next month or 2 months here. So by the end of July, it should be launched. Like Coinbase, Bitstamp, people like that will reach out to you, and they will either say, hey, we are supporting the Spark token. We are going to set up a wallet that you can access all your Spark through our exchange. Or they'll do something like Binance US did, and they will ask for you to give them an Ethereum address for them to redirect your Spark airdrop to. So those are going to be the options for exchanges. Now, with self-custody wallets, there's a little more customization in what you can do. One of the things Mickey was talking about earlier is that the Bifrost wallet is going to allow you to import your 12-word or 24-word recovery seed phrase to Bifrost whenever that's available. This can be done at any date. You could do this a year from now if you decide, okay, I want everything to go in Bifrost now, because importing and exporting your wallets basically is something that's been around for a while now. So it's not something affected by the claim date. Now, what is affected by the claim date? The Ethereum address pointer you're putting in the message key. So if you have a Ledger Nano so this is what I did. I had my XRP account there, and then I also used an Ethereum address from my Ledger Nano. Since I don't know what, if Ledger Nano is going to support the Spark token or not, um, I have to make a decision on if I'd rather just set my Ethereum address to be an empty MetaMask wallet or an empty MyEther wallet. You need to make sure that you get a recovery seed phrase that's 12 or 24 words if you do that, because that's how you're going to be able to import it into Bifrost at launch. If you decide not to do that and you keep your Ethereum address on the Ledger Nano, if they don't support the Spark token through their wallet, the Ledger Nano wallet, then you will have to plug in your Ledger Nano to MetaMask, and then MetaMask will let you see the Spark tokens that are under that Ethereum pointer address you use, and you'll use MetaMask to send them to Bifrost if you want. I also believe MetaMask is going to let you plug into the Flare network and use it as well, so you could just do everything from MetaMask if you prefer. I know a lot of people from like the Flare Finance beta think that MetaMask is pretty buggy. I definitely have had some issues with it. It may just be because a lot of us were new to it. So, those are options for you. And I just kind of, hopefully that like lays it out well for you guys. I'm going to flip back over to the chat too, just to see
Yeah,
what
so
people are
XRP
saying.
Muster asks, so we won't actually have custody of our Spark tokens till July. Yeah, most
Probably.
likely.
Yeah.
So right now, you're just using your Nano Ledger to claim your Spark tokens. Now, the receiving of those actual tokens, we don't know if Ledger is going to fully support that yet. That's the issue at hand. All right. Now, if they do support it, well, I'm not going to repeat everything Patty said. He just kind of explained it.
Yeah, y'all may
But
need
there
to
were two other.
re-listen to that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to re-listen to it. I don't want to explain what he just said. So this was actually a good question here from BWS. Just to switch a little, let's pivot sideways a little here. BWS 205. You have charts showing two ways to get rewards with Spark and two ways with FXRP, but I haven't seen any videos showing the 4 separate reward streams earning XRP from staking Spark. All right. So yes. So that last part that you said right there, the earning XRP from staking Spark, they haven't disclosed the full details of exactly how you earn XRP from depositing Spark into the F asset system as collateral. Now, that's going to go through agents. Now, you'll earn a percentage of that 5% that everyone else is paying to mint their F assets. By you putting up that collateral, you'll earn a percentage of that. We don't know exactly how that will work or how it'll be broken down, but that's one of those 4 revenue streams. So with Spark, let's just do the 4 revenue streams right now. Spark by itself, you delegate the detachable vote, which is the FTSO vote, which you're going to be able to do from your Bifrost wallet. All right. You'll be able to delegate percentages to different signal providers, and it will auto compound as you earn that Spark. It'll auto delegate out to those signal providers that you chose already. So that's nice because it'll be autonomous in a way. Now, you could also simultaneously utilize that Spark while delegating the detachable votes, all right, either in the F asset system or somewhere else in the ecosystem. Now, that's the 2 revenue streams. Now, with FXRP, just bringing it over to the Flare network, you earn Spark daily from the general rewards pool, which is algorithmically distributed to you daily. That's one of the 2 revenue streams for FXRP. Now, you could simultaneously take that FXRP and utilize it in, say, Flare Finance or Probity Vault or any of the other applications. So there's your 4 revenue streams from 2 assets. All right. So I just hope everyone understands that detachable nature of the FTSO vote it's not like proof of stake where you can now utilize the token by already earning the detachable vote rewards. And then the FXRP just comes with Spark being airdropped to you. Just because you brought it over, it's a reward for you. And then you could utilize that. For example, let's tie this into the other question that was asked. Sorry, Patty, I'm going to go on a little.
No, keep going, please.
Going on here. Somebody asked, how does the Probity Vault with RA work? I just want to catch that question. Where is it? I missed it.
I'll see if I can find it.
He asked about the RA. All right, well, let's just talk about RA. So, here it is. Can you explain how the RA stable coin and that will work, and how do you make yield off it? Okay, so with the RA, it's really interesting. So you have your FXRP right now or your Spark. You're able to deposit it as collateral, but you have a choice of doing 2 things, and they're 2 separate things. You could either borrow against that collateral and borrow the RA, and then you pay interest on that, or you could lend that RA out. So you put in collateral and you lend the RA to the treasury, and then the treasury lends it out, and you just earn compounding interest per second. And then you just put the collateral in. So that's a way for you just to earn and lend at the same time. So that's what's interesting about RA and the Probity Vault. More details to come on that. So you have a choice to borrow or lend from the Probity Vault. All right. Hopefully that makes sense, but we'll get more information. I don't want to go too deep into that because that is going to get very complicated. And Patty, I think we should just talk about the exchanges. So how that's different than, the self-custody wallets.
As far as the Spark drop.
Yeah, so it's just 2 different mindsets. Like the people that have them on, say, Coinbase or something, and somebody who has self-custody is totally different type of people. But a lot of us have overlapped and done both, like both you and I have.
Yeah, I had some on Bitstamp and Coinbase for the drop too. I just decided to put a little bit on each of those just in case something happened. But
and we should talk about the deflare and where you want to prepare for that too.
Yeah, so okay. Those are all good topics. I do want to touch on one more thing just because people are a little confused how, you might not see your Spark on your ledger. So maybe people don't understand exactly what the Ledger Nano is. The Ledger Nano does not hold your crypto in it. Your crypto does not live inside your Ledger Nano. What your Ledger Nano does hold is the private keys that allow you to access your crypto, and that also is shown in that like 24-word recovery seed phrase you got when you first like set up your Ledger Nano. Basically, when you plug that into your computer, it lets you access the blockchain, and then you can use that Ledger Nano, the private keys from there, let you move your funds that are stored on the blockchain. So the entire time, the Flare network has had on their website that there are certain self custody wallets that will either just support the claim or will support the claim plus support the Spark token. Like we were saying, Ledger is still undecided if they're going to support the Spark token. So if you are concerned about that, definitely reach out to them and tell them that you want that. There's a lot of people in the XRP community that have Ledger Nanos. And then additionally, so how can you see your Spark tokens if you can't see it on your Ledger Nano, but you could see it if you plug it into MetaMask? So basically, it just means that they will not be supporting the token address that goes along with the Spark token. So that's like what says that this unit on the blockchain is a Spark token. That's what I'm talking about. MetaMask will support that 100%. It's just unclear if Ledger Nano is going to do that at some time. So technically, if you go in through the plugin they have with MetaMask, you can go to MetaMask and see your Spark there. If you are claiming with the Ledger Nano, it does not mean you're not receiving your Spark. You may just have to access it in a different way than you would normally access your crypto through the Ledger Nano. So it's just like a different way that may happen, and we're just preparing people that that might happen. Um, the tokens are going to go wherever you're to that Ethereum address that you set up as the message key. So that's just what I want to point out. If that Ethereum address is through your Ledger Nano, then that's where you may have to connect it to MetaMask to see it. If you already set it up so that it goes to my Ether wallet or to MetaMask, then you'll just do it directly from there. That's kind of what we're trying to get across. And I really just want to point out the Ledger Nano is just keys to the blockchain so that you can access your funds on the blockchain, and it holds them offline so nobody can hack it without physically getting your Ledger Nano device. That's kind of the whole reason behind why people have that. It's not that you need to keep your funds in some device. That's not how it works. So
Yeah,
hopefully that'll
and
clear up some stuff for people that are confused by that.
And to answer Mike Crowley's question here, hopefully XRP Labs sorts something out. I wouldn't count on that. The Zum app is for XRPL strictly. You're not going to be able to hold Spark assets and other chains assets in the Zum app. I just wouldn't plan on that. This
Yeah.
is a totally different network. So we have to keep in mind, remember, this is just a claim that is ending the 11th now. When we actually receive the tokens, could be a month or two from now. And I personally don't expect it to happen until after 4th of July. I mean, at the earliest, personally, right, Patty?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it happening till July at least, or late July.
Yeah.
This fully goes down.
July 1st
And then
is like a Friday too, so it's like, yeah.
Maybe. And then even then, we're going to have different rollout stages. So you're going to receive your tokens is going to be like stage 1, right? And then from there, you're not going to be able to mint FXRP on day 1. Think of minting F assets as another dApp. It's just a special decentralized app that's part of the Flare network that they built, but it's still an app. Like Flare Finance is a dApp, Trustline and Probity are a dApp. Those will come down the road in not long after, weeks after. And you want to, basically the goal is to stack as much Spark as you can in the meantime for the next snapshot, which will be a month after, from Flare Finance. And they'll take a snapshot of your Spark. But those are things we could talk down the line. I don't want to confuse everyone. Step 1, what we're trying to do right here, Patty and I, is get everyone situated for the claim. Because once 611 is over, then it's on to the next thing, and then that's over. But receiving your actual tokens, don't plan on that happening anytime in the next couple of weeks, at least the next month or two, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Hmm.
And so we can talk about the deflare airdrop as well because
Yeah.
I saw somebody ask earlier, and I can't remember who it was, since they didn't get an airdrop with their XRP, and now the F asset system may not be live until more than a month
Mhm.
after the Flare network goes live. That means if Flare Finance is launching 1 month after the Flare mainnet's live, then you won't be able to.
I'm gonna cut you off there.
Yeah,
The Flare Finance will be. It's they won't have tokens though.
Yeah, so the
Sorry.
issue is they'll do their airdrop, but people that would have earned Spark by minting their assets will
Ah,
not be able to do that
gotcha.
now. So if you want to be involved in that
Hmm.
airdrop, you're going to have to purchase Spark
Good point.
on the open
Yes.
market. So that's going to
Yeah.
be through an exchange. So right now, I know Uphold and BitTrue are going to be supporting the Spark tokens so that you can buy it. I know Bitstamp put out a feeler on Twitter a few weeks ago about whether or not they would, offer trading for it. They got like the biggest response for Spark, so hopefully they took that to heart. Also, Poloniex, I assume, is supporting it because they gave out IOUs, so that
Gotcha.
makes sense. Yeah.
Can we just jump in here? So when Bullish Gorilla says Bifrost says 50 some odd days, I'm gonna go by that. That's to connect to the dApps. All right. So there's a separation here from receiving your tokens and from these wallets being able to connect to Web3 dApps. That countdown date is pretty much to connect to the dApps, right, Patty?
Yeah, no,
That's
so
how
they
I
said
saw that.
it's the
That's
last date that it will go live,
last
depending
date.
on when the Flare
The
network
last
goes
date.
live. It's going to be
Okay.
it's going to be ready for launch. I confirmed that
Okay.
with them.
Good.
I don't know what else to tell people. You don't have to believe me if you don't want to,
Gotcha.
but
All
I'll
right.
try and find the tweet
No,
on the
thank
back
you.
end too.
Share on that. And
Uh,
also this goes for everybody. They've been fairly receptive to questions. So don't be afraid to, reach out to them, send them respond to their tweets. They seem to be answering them and Toho Labs. Not Flare Network, but try to ask Bifrost and Toho Labs. Ask them questions. I mean, they're responding.
yeah, exactly.
All
Like
right.
they
So let's move
answer.
on to
Yeah.
DFlare.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so here we go. Mike Crowley says, Mickey, if we want FXRP, if we want to mint FXRP, will we stick, will we stick, get, still get the DFlare tokens with the Spark we use to mint the FXRP? All right, you don't use Spark to mint FXRP, number one. You mint FXRP with your FXRP. You don't do anything with Spark to mint FXRP. So that's number one. We have to, you don't put up the Spark collateral to mint FXRP. Agents do. The only thing you need to do to mint FXRP is pay a 5% fee with your XRP. All right. So that hopefully clarifies that question there. So you're not using any Spark for that. FXRP will stick to get DFlare tokens. Now I'm really confused. I don't know what he's saying in that. I don't know. That question's all over the place. I'm sorry, Mike. You're gonna have to clarify because there's a lot of confusion going on in that question. All right. So a month after launch, that Flare Finance is going to take a snapshot of your Spark. So you have a month to build up as much Spark as you can, either from delegating votes, from buying it, or from whatever else there is to do. So that's really the goal. And then in the meantime, there'll be a point when you can mint F assets, but that's not going to happen right out the gate. I guess that's what I'm going to clarify. All right.
Cool.
And that will be, so I guess, do we want to get into the DFlare?
I mean, I don't really have much other than what I kind of
Yeah,
commented
I don't
on
want to
earlier.
confuse
So
everyone too much with that yet.
I'll
But
just add that basically the deflare airdrop, and I don't know if Indy's still in here. He definitely knows well, but
yeah.
at 30 days after the launch of Flare mainnet, there will be a snapshot of Spark token holders, and then you will have, I want to say it might be 2 weeks now to swap DFlare for YFlare via the Flare X platform, which is a decentralized exchange. You'll have to sign up for KYC and then also what's it called, watch some tutorials. So yeah, Indy's still here. Hopefully if he sees or hears me say anything wrong, he'll correct
Yeah.
me. Also, the airdrop is going to be based on it's going to be based on, so it'll be that 15%
7 to
you get at
14
launch,
days.
and then also anything you accrue in that month leading up to the snapshot date. So like you could buy Spark and then still be, eligible for that. You just need to do it before the snapshot, which is going to be a month after launch.
All right. So Mike Crowley's questions here is I hold Spark, but not XRP, and I use them to mint F assets. Will I still get D-Flare? You can't use Spark to mint F
I guess
assets.
he's
All
saying
right.
provide it for collateral for other people to do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
providing it. Okay. Will I still get the D-Flare? Yes. Yes. So if you're using your Flare tokens or Spark tokens somewhere else, like as collateral, you will still get those. Those will still count towards the snapshot, I believe, Mike. All right. So say you are providing Spark in the F asset system as collateral, then they will still count towards your holdings of receiving D-Flare. All right. So hopefully that answers that question. And that's one thing, that's an important thing to point out, because that's something that's really powerful about the Flare network, is that you're able to utilize your assets and still be able to get these benefits of like having a snapshot taken and being able to delegate your votes and being able to put it as collateral all at the same time. So that Spark that you're putting as collateral, Mike, you'll be able to delegate those votes from there too, even while it's used as collateral for minting F assets, and it'll be included in the snapshot for D-Flare. All right. So that's one thing I think that's powerful about this network, that it takes a little while to catch on and understand all these benefits. But once people do and app developers do, it's going to make it easy to really create apps. And that's why we're excited about things like Flare Finance and their whole ecosystem, and Trustline and Gala and everything that's being built. It makes it easier and it's more flexible to create apps, one, without all the gas fees, without all the front running and the slow settlement times of Ethereum, but also you eliminate the proof of stake problems where you have to stake the native asset and now you can't use it. With this, you're still earning the same type of rewards and yield that you would in proof of stake, except you still maintain possession of the token or can utilize it somewhere else and earn that other yield from the FTSO delegating simultaneously. So that's a powerful value proposition.
Yeah, I mean, that was really well put. And kind of like just to piggyback off that, it's like, if you can't participate in the Flare Finance snapshot, if you're providing collateral for Spark, I pretty much think that could make the whole system collapse, because now you'd have all these people rushing out of the F asset system and stuff like that. So it just seems like that's definitely something that's going to happen, especially when we already know that, like, with Flare Finance, the two-sided liquidity pools, like those are going to earn you all your F asset rewards. You're still going to earn those things. So to me, a snapshot's very easy to do. It's going to have some connection to your wallet, so they know that it's your Spark. So yeah, you should be good utilizing it and being involved or being eligible for the D-Flare snapshot. Cool.
All right, let's
Let's
get some
see.
more questions. How many minutes are we at? This thing was fast.
Okay, so Red Pill FXRP white paper does not say anything of getting Spark rewards just for minting FXRP. So where do you see it states otherwise? Cool. So yeah, Red Pill.
On the
Check out
blogs.
check out the blog website that Flare has. They've given like updated stuff that they created a rewards pool and all that for people that mint F assets. So you get Spark delivered to you daily. And then BWS, let's see. Do we know how quick one would take XRP out of Flare network if we wanted to sell some? Is there a lockup time, or will it be a fast withdrawal? So you can redeem. So if you have FXRP, you can take it back to the FXRP system. You pay like a 0.1% fee of the total value of that FXRP you want to redeem into XRP, but you pay that fee in Spark, so you don't have to pay any more like XRP fees, and that'll be like immediate. If you go back and say that you want it back, you take your FXRP back, they should be sending it to you like really fast. They're supposed to be answering redemption calls on demand. So that's nice. And there's no minimum lockup period. You could do it for 1 day and then go back if you wanted to. However, I'll give you this other point to consider. Let's say that you want to sell some of your XRP, or it's in FXRP right now, so you want to sell that. You could just go over to the Flare X decentralized exchange and swap your FXRP for a stable coin, maybe like RA in the future, or the YUSD stable coin that's going to be on Flare Finance. And if some exchange supporting that, you can just transfer that over there, and now you can cash out. So like you could avoid having to go through that process to go back to the XRP ledger in order to cash out your XRP. Also, who's to say maybe in the future we could see if like FXRP has a large amount of value. Let's say if it has billions of dollars of value in FXRP, then we may see some exchanges actually list FXRP as a token on their exchange, and you could trade, via their centralized exchange to fiat if you wanted to. So, these are all things. It's like if you're getting in at the beginning, not everything's going to be there, because there's going to be enterprises and individuals that want to see, is the value going to go here before I build on it? People like Flare Finance and Trustline are definitely taking a risk building on a network that has not been live yet, but they also have a huge reward if it's successful, because they will be like, what is it, first mover advantage on the platform, kind of how like Bitcoin was with crypto a long time ago. So
Mhm. Yep. So yes, if you had your thing on Coinbase, there's nothing more you could do. You just got to wait for them. Now, here's an interesting question, Patty, for you.
okay.
Well, let me answer this one first. How do you get your XRP? I'll answer this one first, and the next one over to you. How do you get your XRP over to the Bifrost wallet? Ricky Bell Jr. asked. Is it like sending and receiving from any other wallet? Yes, I believe so. Yes, but we don't have the details exactly, but it should be. Are they going to have one generalized Flare account like for everybody, or will you have an individual XRP account? Because remember, you're going to have a Flare account. So we talk all about these wallets and these private keys, but you're going to have a dedicated Flare account that has an account. The account comes public and a private key. If they add in a domain, that will be really the additional security I see coming. I know I'm speculating a little on that, but I kind of have a feeling that's coming with this whole KYC AML thing. It's going to be good for all of us, because I think it's going to be more security, and it's going to help bring institutional money in. It'll handle the travel rule, and all that's coming to DeFi. So like travel rule they took a little break because of the whole, beer flu the last year, but that's coming, and it's going to be a big wake up call for a lot of the crap coins and crap projects that are out there on Ethereum, and all those types of scams. They're going to get wiped out. So I do think that there'll be, I don't want to say a purging, but I think there's going to be a flushing out of some of the crap projects, and a rising to the top of the really well-built projects. And governance is going to have a factor. So I think that's one topic I want to talk about next, Patty. Like, we all talk about centralization and decentralization, but decentralization doesn't mean that you don't have an input. Things could be decentralized and have governance, and that's what the Flare network's going to have. So when the code needs to be changed, or we need to do updates, or we need to choose what's the next F asset that's brought on, there's a governance structure put in place to decide that. And you know who that governance structure is made up of? Us. So we are the governance structure who will decide on those things. And then to a next level, even within Flare Finance, there'll be a governance structure that will allow to decide. So this is the next level of decentralization. So it's not just, decentralized, nothing could be changed like Bitcoin. That's their problem. They didn't build governance into the network. Now, Flare Finance, and Trustline, they're building governance into the ecosystems, into it. So I really think that's important, so people understand like what is centralized and what's decentralized. You could have decentralization and still upgrade a protocol without it being centralized. It's just that, the first few tokens that came out, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, didn't have the best governance structure. If anything, XRP is probably the easiest to, I guess it's the most flexible, but it's not Ripple who decides it, but it's just a small group who basically makes the amendments. But we'll be able to, um, do you want to take Greg Hayes' question?
What is it? I was pulling some stuff on my
No,
browser.
I'm sorry. Do you think XLM is a junk project? No, I don't think XLM is a junk project. I just think that it's going in a little different direction than the way XRP is being built. It's just different. I don't think it's junk. I just think that you really can't compare the two because they're trying to do different things, and the way their code of their projects are being designed, like they just added an amendment to allow security tokens to be issued on the Stellar blockchain. I think what Ripple's doing with XRP Ledger is a little different. I think they're going more to the federated side chains and the layer 2 to do all that stuff instead of doing them actually on the blockchain. I think they'll be taking it more to the layer 2 federated side chains, private ledgers, all that stuff we hear about CBDC and private ledgers. Information is going to come out on that, but it's just going to be abstracted into, these side chains. That's what Matt Hamilton said. That's what I'm going off of. And I think that's really cool because it's going to add more. Yeah, FXLM is a thing. Greg, nobody can, we don't have to get approval from Jed for XLM to be coming over to the Flare network. It's the users. Whoever wants to, if you have XLM and you want to mint FXLM, it's your choice. You don't have to ask Jed's permission. You don't have to ask Hugo's permission. It's just your choice. As long as there's integration with the state connector system and we have the validator set there that overlaps, then it's the user's choice how much adoption we get from that blockchain and that community. This is why Doge was chosen by the Flare team. So everything that's happening before the network goes live is the creator's choice. And I think it's their right. They created the network. They decide the best way to set it up for what it is. And when the network goes live, it's going to be up to us. So it's the community who's the governance, and we'll make the decisions on what are the future assets that are added from there. All right, I think my rant is over, Patty.
No, that was great. I just want to add on one
I'm out
point.
of breath.
Yeah, so you were getting point the part. So like the way that the state connector system is designed is if a blockchain is going to be integrated with Flare so that that blockchain, the native asset, can be minted as F assets on Flare. That's just something that doesn't, there's no change on the native network that needs to be done to accommodate that. So that's kind of, I think, what the beauty of it is. There's some other, like, there's other bridges out there that require you to kind of have help on the blockchain you're trying to connect to, or just different ways of doing it. This doesn't require that. And in the future, if you want a specific token to become an F asset, well, you're going to have to lobby for that, because you may be like, oh, well, I hold this asset, so I'd love to be able to mint it into an F asset, but if you propose it too soon and people aren't ready to add new tokens onto it, it may get flushed out and then not get put back up for a vote for a while. So like, I mean, there's going to be strategies to proposals and things like that. But yeah, the nice thing is, like, we make it what we want to make it, as well as like other enterprises and stuff that come into the network. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that develops for sure. And I'm going to flip over to my screen real quick. I just want to, because some people are asking if they could reclaim, and I just kind of want to point them in the right direction for that. So you can go to, it's called flare.vt.com. So this VTWin made this website for people to set up their message key for all different types of wallets. I did my Ledger Nano through here. And then also you're going to use XRP Toolkit as well. So these two websites, this one will give you the directions on how to do it, and you'll add like the message key and stuff in to your account. Also, XRP Toolkit is created by Toho Labs, who are the ones making the Bifrost wallet. So, that's pretty cool as well. But I just wanted to point that out, that if you want to change where your Spark airdrop is going to go, you can do that up until June 11th. So just realize that. Also, somebody asked if they set up a what's it called, a MetaMask wallet, but they just gave you a string of numbers and letters. Well, that might be the address. You need to create one that gives you the recovery seed phrase, which needs to be 12 or 24 words if you're planning on importing that wallet to Bifrost. Bifrost is only going to be, you can only import into there with a 12 or 24 word recovery seed phrase. Also,
Yeah,
let's just say if you
bye.
do it to MetaMask, you could always just send your Spark there every month. Now, that may be an annoyance for some. I know some people would be more than happy to do that. So you just kind of need to take into account what's your situation. What do you want to do? Do you have a problem with importing your seed phrase? Some people do. So they may not want to go that route. But we're just trying to put out all the options you have because you have until the 11th to decide where that airdrop is going to go. And once that's like finalized, once we're past the 11th, then you're stuck with that address that you're using. So yeah,
Yes,
just
good
want to
point.
realize that.
That's so it's not, you'll just have to move it every month then. But by the after the 11th, you can't change where it's going to. There's not like, oh, can I have it go here now? Nope. So for 2 to 3 years, it's going to where it's going, and you're not going to be able to change it. If you're at an exchange, you're already stuck there. But if you're at a self custody, now to the 11th is your time to adjust where you want that spark to go to. You know, you could always, every month you get it, you could just move it. It's just, an extra step. Some people, like Patty said, don't want to do that. Some do, and some don't. But now is your time to make that decision in the 8 days. That's what's the claim period, right? That's what we're doing. So this is a good question by Calixto. Asks, is the governance voting separate from delegated votes to the signal providers that will provide the pricing data to the FTSO? Very good question. And yes, so there's 2 detachable votes that come with each Spark token. One is for the FTSO pricing data, and one is for governance. So you have a separate detachable vote for governance. So if your Spark is locked in a smart contract, say, in Flare Finance or the Probity Vault, you'll still be able to vote from there because your Flare account, still recognizes that those are your tokens. So you'll still be able to vote. You'll still have the voting power of those tokens. And it is separate, yes. They're going to market, remember this. This is one thing, I'm going to throw out there. The signal provider is going to market all types of things to you. Because your FSS also come with FTSO votes. They just don't earn you any rewards, but they give the signal providers voting power. So that creates an interesting dynamic of how they could package different, promotional things to you. And there's nothing wrong with that. It creates a healthy marketplace of a bunch of signal providers competing. We have dApps over here. We have agents over there. So you want this healthy marketplace existing. So it's not just so like, just the network or just the dApp. We've got a lot of things going on here. And I think we're basically creating an Oracle, ecosystem of these signal providers, because that data is going to be valuable. We all know data is the new oil. So all these signal providers are going to be, from the onset, providing data for the F asset system initially. But that doesn't mean they can't build additional business models for price feeds of other assets for other apps on top of that. So just something to keep in mind.
Cool.
And we had one other question. I so good for you, but let's wrap it up soon,
so
Patty.
we
We're
can do,
almost at 45
so let's
minutes.
do whatever if you want to do that
We're
question.
55
And there's
minutes.
one that I saw that was really good that I want you to answer. So I don't know. Did you know what question it was? I have the one that I want you to answer though.
I have the bright screen on and it's hard to read. I wish I had the dark version on. I don't know.
Okay, let me just ask you this question and we'll wrap it
Go
up.
ahead.
So Hard Rock Bullies asks, do you think the Codius project will become operational and will it be competitive to the Flare network?
Oh boy, you need a whole video on this.
I know, but just give them a, a brief
No,
thing.
I have a really good opinion on this, and I think this is something to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
The Codius project is going to turn into these federated side chains. All right, it's not going to be competition with Flare. It's going to be more complementary. So think of how the Matic network is with Ethereum. Think of like layer 2 networks built off of the XRP ledger that could do all types of smart contracts. They could have their own consensus, but they use XRP. And I think that's where Codius is going to be utilized in these. There might be different versions of these federated sidechains. Ripple X might make one for just real estate and tokenization. They might make another one for DeFi or this other or security tokens. I think we're going to see Codius used in that way, where there'll be side chains with smart contracts, certain specific smart contract language for that use case. So if you're going to tokenize assets, you could build a smart contract language and hosting just for that use case and that side chain. And then maybe you have another side chain, which is for some totally other use case of something else. I don't think that's necessarily competing with Flare. I think what they realized was they needed a fully dedicated network that used the Ethereum virtual machine and Solidity separate from just having it as a side chain. And I think that's where Flare came in. But remember, they absorbed that company Logos. Logos had a blockchain that came with it. I don't think they just threw that blockchain out the window. I think that can become one of the side chains off the XRP ledger used for a specific use case. It could be real estate tokenization. It could be security tokens. It could be, tokenized debt and all these things. I just don't think they're going to run directly on the ledger. That's where I think they're going to just abstract them to like layer 2. Remember, David Schwartz said layer 2 is only as good as layer 1 infrastructure is. So I think they've been building up layer 1 XRP ledger to be max strength and robustness so that all these other layer 2 side chains can then use out of that. Now, adding hooks, the hooks amendment would allow for more things to happen to connect the side chains to the main ledger. Now, they're not going to create another XRP. They're not going to have another price or anything. It'll use the same XRP, but they can have issued assets on the side chains separate from the main ledger. So it's just something to keep an eye on. I think we are going to see information. Matt Hamilton was pretty adamant about on Crypto Eddie's interview. If you haven't seen it, very good interview she did with Matt Hamilton. So I recommend that to everybody. But that's definitely, a whole different, category from what's going on here with Flare. So information overload. But tokenized debt, XRP muster, exactly. Bonds, all that type of stuff. It'll just be off the ledger. It won't be on the actual public ledger. They're not going to allow those type of capital market products to be publicly visible on the ledger. It's just not going to happen. They'll be just inside chains outside the ledger.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for addressing that. I just thought that was
You're
too
welcome.
good of a question to pass up. But yeah,
Amato is the man.
He is, yeah.
Thank you,
check
Patty.
out Ripple X dev streams on Twitch. They come out every Tuesday if you're interested in learning more of the technicals of the XRP ledger, especially if you're a developer that wants to get involved with blockchain. I know they're really targeting people like that. So that's a good place to go. And then, aside from that, I know like some of this stuff is confusing. Technicals on the blockchain, especially, when we're having to do it to get this airdrop, is a lot to wrap your mind around when maybe you didn't think you need to understand that originally. If you go to the Toho Labs Twitter and the Bifrost Wallet Twitter and you go to their tweets and replies section on their feed, just go and read through all the questions that people have been asking. They've answered a ton. I've gotten a lot of the information that we presented over the past couple of days from their replies to other people's tweets, as well as just DMing them. So highly suggest you guys look through that, check out the blog, just try and soak it in as much as yourself. But yeah, I mean, if you've already done the claim and it says you're successful in XRP scan, just know that it's going to go to the Ethereum address that uses the message key. And then, when we get closer to launch, you'll just have to figure out how exactly you need to access that as we get more information from the likes of like Ledger Nano and some of these other groups, as well as exchanges. A lot of people are waiting to hear how they're going to deliver it. But anyways, thanks for you guys joining in today. Mickey, thanks for coming on the phone, definitely. And
yes,
hopefully,
reverse.
we'll
same channel, but just a little different setup.
Yeah, you just get me and Mickey blasting messages through the same person's account, but that's That's fun. Anyways, you guys have a great one, and me and Mickey are out. Peace.
Yes, peace.